You found the WMIX Saturday Sports Show on AM 940 and WMIXsports.com. Cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. The Saturday Sports Show has been recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the top radio programs in the state. That means the very best mix of local sports content is right here. From the powerhouse on Broadway, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
Welcome in to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX, brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It's what healthcare should be as we jump into June. Today's June 1st, and boy, have we jumped into it. All rain and everything else. Denny Zawinski hosting for the next just under 2 hours. Jeff Crow pushing the buttons. Chris Hugo, Mike Richardson away on assignment. And all you have to do is look outside. Look outside yesterday. First thing, we hope everybody is safe. Obviously, there was some very severe weather within southern Illinois and our Metro East friends, as well as around the country last night. We hope everybody is safe. We know as far as sports goes, the historic gym at Gillespie, Illinois, the home of the Miners, was hit pretty hard last night. We hope that everybody there is okay, as well as in the St. Louis area and around the country with that weather. That weather is kind of affecting what's going on in the sports world today. And I mean, there are a lot of things going on. The IHSA, for the first time ever today, crowning 5 state champions: bass fishing, baseball 1A and 2A, and softball 1A and 2A. 5 different state champions, first time ever. They are in an absolute mess right now, most of their stuff. The bass fishing at Carlisle right now is in a weather delay. That's the state bass fishing tournament. They moved back for a week, or moved back from the middle of May because of how high the water was at Carlisle Lake. Baseball is very interesting in Peoria. Of course, it rained all day yesterday if you paid attention or looked. Baseball right now, they still have a 2A semifinal to finish at 9 a.m. between Eureka and Pleasant Plains. Eureka is leading 2-0 in the top of the 5th. They're going to play that game first. Then they're going to have the string of games, but the third-place games today in Peoria will be 5-inning games in order to allow for the 7-inning games. So baseball has got some work to do. They've got to get a partial game in and 4 games in today. Then softball basically is running on schedule up there. They are going to play as long as nothing happens. It's not raining now. If you look at a weather radar of the state of Illinois, there is really nothing Effingham north, Mattoon north, and that section up, it's basically clear in the northern third of the state. From Effingham south, as you can look outside, it's a wet mess, obviously. So softball right now is ready to go. They have all their games. They plan on playing the way they're supposed to do, their way, doing those things they need to do in softball. So it should run on time. Now, yesterday, if you're a Southern Illinois fan like we are, you went to Peoria, you played in Peoria, and oh my goodness, I don't know what to say. If it's Forget Friday, if it's got punked in Peoria, I don't know what kind of term you want to use for it. But Shawnee baseball, Goreville softball, Nashville softball, all lost yesterday. And that was hugely disappointing because Goreville and Nashville were defending state champs. Shawnee was in state for baseball for the first time. And you really, every time the score came in, thought, wow, this is going on. Then if you count a little further north, of course, T-Town was our representative for baseball from Southern Illinois in 2A. They also got beat. So really, the representatives from Southern Illinois, the super sectional teams, the 4 of them, all lost yesterday. Something that, we're just not used to seeing. And we'll go through that a little bit later. We have the scores posted on our website, WMIXsports.com. But Shawnee baseball, Goreville softball, Nashville softball, T-Town baseball will all play for third place today. Waterloo Jabot, if you count them, who are in the 6-1-8 from Waterloo, they are playing for a state title today. But, do you count them? Do you not? However you want to look at it, it is what it is. So, and as we posted our schedule as we normally do at facebook.com/WMIXsports. We've also posted a thing that says these games are tentative because we don't know what's going to happen. The Rams are supposed to play Triad today at 1 o'clock at Effingham. That is the latest that we have. There are some rumors floating around about other things going on. We have nothing official. So at 8:12 and 42 seconds this morning, it's the Rams versus Triad at 1 p.m. in Effingham today with the pregame starting at 12:45 on AM 940 and on WMIXsports.com. with that, we here at the Saturday Sports Show try to work around things and situations. We know we have softball teams we've talked to, and baseball we've talked to in the past that are in Peoria and whatnot. We're trying to work around not only baseball, softball, but we're trying to work around shifting into the summer mode. We have that today as well. But we're not, the coaches aren't here for us because they have schedules. We're here for the coaches. So if you're wondering why we don't have Nashville Dempsey Whitty on, or Shannon Massey from Goreville, or Shawnee baseball coach, they've got a long day ahead of themselves. They've got a long day yesterday. All this stuff going on. So we're kind of going around a different way. We're going to lead off, of course, with Tim Holloway, the head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams, as normal, to talk about their win Wednesday over Effingham, and, of course, today's alleged game against Triad. Scott Gamber will join us at 8:25. Rams basketball camp coming up in the summer schedule for the Mount Vernon Rams basketball team. We're going to talk with him about that. We'll have the voice of Nashville Athletics on our sister station, WNSV 104.7 out of Nashville, Bo Meyer, on to talk about the Nashville Hornets and their game yesterday against Kankakee Bishop McNamara in their third-place game today. At 8:45, we'll have Todd Tripp on, the AD at Goreville. He's also the boys basketball coach. Thought we'd get him in to kind of give you a perspective of what athletic directors go through when you have a team like Goreville get to the state tournament and the things they have to do, hosting a sectional and then the paperwork involved. At 9:05, we'll have Lance Bolt, head coach of the Mount Vernon Lady Rams softball team. We'll wrap up his season, talk about it and the awards that were given out the other night, the team awards. 9:15, Jeff Lonnan, the head coach of the Mount Vernon Lady Rams basketball team, will join us. They've got Lady Rams basketball camp coming up at Mount Vernon High School. He's going to talk about that in the summer program for his Mount Vernon Lady Rams high school team. And Ron Weinmiller will join us at 9:30. They have a shootout this Tuesday. A lot of area teams going to that for boys basketball. All day games are scheduled at Benton High School. I'm going to talk to him about that. Also, if you're looking for high school basketball today, there's a nice little shootout going on at Waltonville. Brian Gamber is hosting one. A rainy day, got nothing to do, go to Waltonville, watch some high school basketball. We'll also catch you up on the latest of what's going on around the area, but of course, we need to take our first break. On the other side, we'll talk to a coach who has a team in a sectional championship today. Who is that? You know it is Tim Holloway. We'll take a break and come back. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
Response has been overwhelming to scheduling your service appointments online at FordSquare.com and KingCityChrysler.com. Hi, Roy Schmidt, President at Ford Square and King City Chrysler Center. We love that you've taken to our websites to schedule your service appointments and are always trying to find ways to make our service departments more convenient for you. Now, we're proud to offer express lane fast oil changes and more at King City Chrysler Center. This means you can stop in when it's convenient for you without an appointment. We're even open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon. Don't wait until it's too late to find out about vehicle problems. Come in for a quick express lane oil change and you'll get a free top-to-bottom vehicle inspection. It's the worry-free way to keep your vehicle running smoothly. Come see us at King City Chrysler Center for quick, convenient service, now open Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank, asking why you bank with Community First Bank. Is it knowing your deposits are also vital to home loans in Jefferson County and our local economy? Is it having your choice of convenient locations and ATMs? Is it seeing a staff of friendly faces you recognize as your neighbors? These are all reasons enough to count, though you only need one, and we are honored you chose us. Community First Bank, welcome back to personal banking. Member FDIC.
Everybody get up.
Saturday Sports Show on WMIX, brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital, it's what healthcare should be. Another cancellation has just come in. The SIGA men's golf tournament Hickory Ridge today has been postponed due to the amount of rain, so those of you that were playing it and are heading down, maybe to watch, you don't get to. Joining us now is the head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams, as usual this time of year. Tim Holloway joins us. And, Coach, I guess we're all in the waiting game right now as of this morning.
Yeah, Danny, we're still in the waiting game. So all we can do is just plan on playing till notified, but as of now, I have not heard a word this morning.
Okay, let's go back to Wednesday, and you have a tough duty, a bus trip to Effingham. You're playing in the sectional. You play, of all teams, the host Effingham Hearts, who are coming off the upset and winning the Olney Regional, coming from a 4-5 game to the sectional title. They're jacked. They're playing on their home field. Your team gets a 4-0 win. We'll start on the mound and talk about Brock Fulkerson. What a performance he had to help carry your team on Wednesday.
He was outstanding. You know, he located, Coach Clark has scouted him a couple times, and we felt like some of their guys were weak away and weak in other areas, and he located and pitched a heck of a game. He put it right on a dime and made them have some ugly swings at times, but Brock can do that to you. His ball moves so much, and when he hits the spots, as he usually does, he makes it tough on you to square it up.
I thought, there's a difference. You pitched as well. There's a difference between throwing and pitching, and I thought we saw that Wednesday with Brock, because not only did he know I can go low and away, but he not only kept it on the corner, but he kept going a little further and a little further outside. To me, that separates the throwers from the pitchers when you got a guy on the mound that can think his way through location and pitching situations like that.
Oh, yeah, he's a good one. I mean, he really is, and I'll take that guy any day of the week over a guy throwing a straight fastball at 89, 90. You give me that guy with movement that can locate, that has poise, that has the intelligence that he has, and you're going to have a chance to win. It didn't matter what the situation. He just put it right where we needed to go, and he went away at times, but he busted some kids in that had some long swings and made it tough on them, and he kept their feet moving, kept their eyes moving, up, down, in, out, and fast, slow, and that's what he does, and you just can't sit on anything. So, against good teams, good hitters, when you can do that, you always have a shot.
Good teams that play this time of year in a sectional and get further down the road, you have to have a total team effort. I think the bottom of the lineup in the last two games, guys like Sawyer Harrison, Hayden Paninsky down there at an 8-9 spot, they have kind of been the catalyst for your team, and they were the other day, as Harrison was one of the ones that scored the first runs of the game.
Yeah, those guys, Harrison's been good, and what we look at is two things. One, quality of bat percentage, and he's high on that chart, and the on-base percentage, and he's over 400 in that category. So those two things are big for us. Those are winning at-bats, and that's what he's done. I know his average isn't quite what he wants it to be, but he's had some clutch hits, and that average doesn't mean a whole lot to me because he will get on base. Whatever it takes, he'll find a way. And then you throw Hayden in there in the 9 hole, and he's like the leadoff guy. So he's got speed, he's got quick hands, he's got the ability to stay back on breaking ball. He does a good job finding a way on base, and he can put a charge in one now and then. So if you look at our Centray game, the original, Harrison walks, I believe, and Hayden lays down a good bunt. So that 7, 8, 9 with Reeves in the 7 hole with speed as well, putting the ball in play, gives us a pretty good lineup. And, they have winning at bats, and that's a good team effort.
You jump out in the game, and we won't discuss who are involved. There was some incidents going on during the game, some chippiness, some rivalry stuff going on. The one thing that stood out to me was your team. You guys didn't hardly have anything to say as coaches, but your team remained calm, cool, and didn't buy into the shenanigans that were going on. That's a credit to you and your staff and the players. They did their business and took care of things when maybe something like that sparks something and gets the other team going the other day.
Yeah, I think, those kids are excited. They're playing hard. There were a couple things that happened that they seem to get a little fired up, and I don't really know why, but our guys are pretty poised. With the senior-led group, we have good leaders with our core seniors, and, they play with class. They play the game right. They play the game, and they respect the game, but they're going to play it hard. I mean, they're going to compete. They're going to slide hard into the bag, which is legal. There's nothing wrong with that. I hear so many times, whether it's high school or whatever, well, that kid went in hard. No, that's not, I don't understand that. It's okay to pitch in. It's okay to slide hard into the bag. You're not trying to hurt someone. You're just playing good, hard, tough baseball. And I think some of that's lost in today's game, but I love the way our guys play. They play with class. They play the game hard, and I wouldn't trade them for anybody.
Now from there, you go into a game against a familiar opponent, Triad, of course. You played them way earlier in this year, lost to them, close game over at Triad. They get a win 2-1 over Mascoutah. What can we expect from this Triad version of their team here in 2013 that you'll see either today or maybe next week?
Well, they've got quite a few guys back off that group that went to state last year, but we feel like we're a pretty good team as well. We played pretty well over there early in March. It was 3-1. We come up short, but I think we're a lot better team right now than we were. I feel like that they played a pretty good game against Mascoutah. That game could have went either way. Mascoutah had a kid running up there 87, 88 with some movement. He's only a junior. He's a real nice pitcher. And it was just one of those games where it came down to a big hit. So, Triad's going to be Triad, but the Rams are going to have to beat themselves and go play. And we just need to take care of the process. And it's pitch to pitch and grind those at-bats out. And when we've done that, we've had a good chance of coming out with a good result.
As you mentioned before, the game was at 11, then it was moved back to 1 o'clock. Now we're sitting and waiting. You mentioned as you came on, nothing new. Is this going to be a case today they're going to wait it out possibly to try to get this thing in no matter what? Is that what possibly the delay is at this point in the morning?
No, that's a good question. I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't know any more than what I told you. I do know they don't have a tarp from what I saw. So, with all this rain last night, and they're supposed to get more today, I'm sure it will be tough to get it in today, but we have to keep the mindset that we're playing until they tell us otherwise. But, that's where we're at right now, and we're just going to get ready to go hit and get ready to play.
Without showing cards, as a coach and your staff, if you were to have a delay today and it moves it back to Monday, does the strategy side of baseball now really come into play as far as lineups, pitchers, and whatnot in that situation now that it'll be almost 4 or 5 days since you last played if it gets moved back to Monday?
Well, yeah, it could. You never know. But the way it sounds, Chatham and that other sectional is going to be played today, or they're going to try to get it in at Sacred Heart on that turf field. So, they're going to be in there. They're going to be on time. But we have to worry about what's coming up next and taking care of this situation first, this game, and we'll decide on those things later.
Well, let's decide on this now. As you know, we're going to let you go because I'm sure you're going to be on the phone doing a variety of different things. This is, of course, our social media question of the week. This week's question's easy. It is, how do you like your steak cooked?
Oh, boy. First, let me ask you a question, Dan. Who comes up with this? Is this you, Hugo? You guys got some dandy questions.
It's a mix. Some days it's me. Some days it's Hugo. Some days we're driving back from wherever going, what are we going to ask Saturday? And since it's summer, I thought we'd throw out the steak question.
Well, I like it. That sounds good. I'll go with medium well, Danny.
Okay.
Medium well.
See, it's something everybody can answer. We can talk food,
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, we'll let you go. We hope to see you today. If not, we'll see you sometime because we got a sectional championship to win. Good luck to whenever that may be, and, of course, we'll see you whenever we get there.
All right, Danny. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. That's Tim Holloway, head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams baseball team. They are supposed to play Triad today at 1 o'clock at the Effingham sectional. Of course, if you look outside, that's the way it goes, I guess. But you'll never know what may or may happen. As he said, the game in Springfield in the other sectional final between Chatham and the other team, they're going to play at SHG today, which is a turf field. Yeah, SHG has its privileges. So they're going to get their game in. And so then you got to think about what they're going to do. But, we're looking at all these things. We're hoping the game gets in. But obviously when you look outside, it's one of those deals where you may or may not get it in. But whatever the case may be, whenever that game is, you can listen to it on AM 940 WMIX or online at WMIXsports.com. And for the latest, you can follow us on Twitter at WMIX Sports or like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/WMIX Sports. And when that word comes down and happens and whatnot, we'll let you know. We can tell you of some other cancellations going on. The 3A softball sectional final at Mount Zion. Of course, that sectional winner will play the Salem sectional winner, has been moved back to Monday at 5 p.m. We can also tell you that the Alton game for our 4A friends to the west, They were supposed to play Moline at the IWU sectional final today. They're going to move that back to Monday at 6 p.m. So obviously cancellations galore are going to start coming around the state, and we'll try to get those as soon as possible to you, whether it's on the air before 10 a.m. or on Twitter or Facebook. With that, we'll move on, and we're going to shift gears. We're going to talk a little basketball. Basketball camps, summertime, basketball games going on. We're going to shift gears and talk with the head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams, Scott Gamber, next after the break. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
It happens every spring. You need a great quality, new-to-you vehicle. There's a reason why Second Chance Auto has been helping put families into affordable, dependable vehicles for over 32 years. Honest, fair deals. Ain't nothing fancy, just great vehicles with warranties, honest deals, and bank rate financing for all. That's the only way Second Chance Auto will do business. And you don't even have to leave your home to get credit approval. Call Second Chance Auto at 244-4582 and get pre-approved right over the phone. They know bad things can happen to good people. Second Chance Auto, Route 142 East in Mount Vernon.
Your spine is a miracle of engineering, so when pain strikes, your body is telling you to get help fast. The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois is proud to feature their spine care team. And when there are back problems, pain is always a constant companion. The Orthopedic Center also specializes in pain management, so put our spine care team on the job. Find out more online at orthocenter-si.com. Stop the pain, fix the problem, and enjoy life again. The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois.
I'm Kevin Snyder with a look at your next rad weather. Mostly cloudy, warm, and humid today with a couple of strong thunderstorms around, which can bring hail and damaging winds. High around 80. Then we'll see a shower or thunderstorm in spots for the evening. Otherwise, mostly cloudy tonight. Low 58 in the countryside to 62 in town. Less humid tomorrow, cooler with a high 72. Partly sunny Monday, high 73. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Saturday Sports Show, rainy outside, dry inside. Denny Zerwinski hosting with Jeff Crow pushing the buttons, Chris Hugo and Mike Richardson on assignment. It's summertime, even though it's raining outside. It is June 1st. Summertime means basketball camps are coming up, and the one that's been around for many years and one of the better ones around this neck of the woods a lot of kids go to and should go to is the Mount Vernon Rams basketball camp coming up at Shagnon Gym. And joining us to talk a little bit about that is the head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams basketball team, Scott Gamber. And, Coach, it's raining outside, so I know you, like me, can't be golfing. What are you doing on this Saturday morning, the 1st of June?
We are en route to Waltonville. My brother puts on a little tournament, and we're going to play there for the day. So it's a good day to be inside in the gym.
Did you get any breaks on the draw and how many games you play, or did you get stuck in that rotten scheduling from that guy over there?
No, we're in a good spot this year. We play at 9, 10, and 11, and so we'll be in and out pretty fast. It's a good deal. We like it. It's an easy trip, and it's good for us.
Speaking of good for us, one of those things that happen every summer at Shagnon Gym is one of the better, I think, because I hear a lot of good things about it, is one of the better basketball camps around. It's the Rams basketball camp coming up. Talk about the dates and times and things coming up for information for that camp that's coming up here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's this coming week, Monday through Thursday, June 3rd through the 6th, and for boys entering the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, in 6th grade, it's from 9:30 to noon, and then for boys entering the 7th, 8th, and 9th, it's from noon to 2:30. And it's a camp that's been around for a long time. It was a camp that I always, as a kid, looked forward to going to, and now a lot's changed. Doug still has a lot to do with it, and even when Coach Emery was the head coach of the Rams, Doug always ran the Ram camp, so he's been doing that for over 20 years, and it's a good camp. We kind of combine a lot of skill work with some competition, and then we try every day to spend a little time playing games. It's a lot of fun, and this year, luckily, I think the weather is going to be nice and cooperate well with us. 30 years where it can be really hot in that gym. but I don't think that's going to be the case this year.
To me, one of the things I hear about from the kids and from the parents, some camps, you roll in, you pay your money. You'll play 3-on-3, they'll play knockout, they'll do some layups for 30 minutes, a lot of people standing around. What I hear about this camp is every year there's quality instruction going on. You're going to learn something while you're there because you're not just there to take checks and give money and let them play games all the time.
No, I hope not, and I think that that really helps us. The more time we can try to build on skill, and Coach Creel does. He does a good job with a lot of things, but I think one of the things that he's best at is I think Coach Creel does a really good job with young kids. And I think with having Jackson, that he's even gotten better at it and spends a lot of time on detail and spends a lot of time, teaching kids the proper form of shooting, and that's we probably spend a little more time on the offensive side of skill work, but do a lot of ball handling to start the day, and then work into footwork, dribble moves, and then the actual shot. And I think that the one thing that we, as high school kids, that we need to spend the most time on is our footwork drills, and it's good that we can start that at a young age.
Speaking of that young age, you get everybody in, and this is open to anybody that wants to be in it, right? The camp, as far as anybody from Mount Vernon or beyond that would like to come in and do this.
Yeah, definitely. We have kids from a lot of different areas usually, come to the camp. And that's something that's kind of been nice is, kids that come all throughout, from the time they're in the second grade to the time they're freshmen. You get to know those kids, and then you see a lot of them, play not just at Mount Vernon High School, but a lot of the area high schools, and that's always one of the kind of the cool things about it. And it's a good way for us as high school coaches to get to know the kids, growing up. So,
speaking of,
it's something that as a coach I really look forward to this camp, probably as much as anything in the summer.
Speaking of growing up, you got your high school kids at Waltonville today. You mentioned the times you play. What's your summer schedule look like for this year?
Yeah, we've kind of got a wide variety of things. We're coming to Waltonville today. A couple weeks from now, we're going to Marshall County. Gus Gillespie, that was here for a while. He coaches at Marshall County, and they have a really nice tournament. And then our big tournament this year, we're going to go to Ole Miss. We're going to alternate, and we've kind of been doing this between 1 year we're going to go to Ole Miss, 1 year we're going to go to Tennessee. And it's a chance for our guys to spend the night, a couple nights, kind of experience college life, and then get to play a lot of basketball games. So that, and then we're going to go to SIU for their camp that they're putting on. They haven't had it for a couple of years, but they're putting it back on this year, and then that's kind of been just a lot of contact days, and I think that's where you get better in your own gym and that sort of thing.
I won't say a word about the SEC thing. I'll let that go right now, but don't think I won't remind you later on some other place, going to those two places. I know why you go to Tennessee. It's all good. I talk to his dad all the time. Before we let you go, because I know you're getting ready to walk in, you got to get your guys ready to go for your 9 a.m. game. We also got to ask you our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. It's an easy one this week. The question is, how do you like your steak cooked?
Oh, that is an easy one. Medium.
Okay.
And as I've gotten older, it kind of gets more to the medium rare side.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. We're getting a variety of answers already. It's very interesting because everybody talks about steak,
Yeah, oh yeah. Hey, I got a question for you because I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
Well,
is the baseball game still on, or is
it, as of 8:37 right now, the baseball game is on at 1 o'clock at Effingham. But okay. Coach Holloway just told us he's not heard anything from anybody of authority anywhere, so they're going at it as if they're playing today, so that's what we're doing right now until we hear something official.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, Coach, thanks for joining us. Get in there and get your team worked out, and we'll talk some more and get those dates and times for Rams camp here next week.
All right, well, thank you very much for having me on this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. That's Scott Gammer, the head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams basketball team. They're playing at Waltonville today, 9, 10, 11. Nice little tournament going on for high school boys. If you want to do something not outside with it raining, go down there and watch some basketball. Rams camp this week at Chagnon. It's 2nd through 6th graders will be in the morning from 9:30 to noon, and then 7th through 9th will be in the afternoon from 12 to 2:30. We got to take a break, shift gears back over to spring sports. Bo Meyer, the voice of the Nashville Hornets, Nashville Athletics in general, sister station WNSV, will join us next. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
How do the best continue to get better? Hi, this is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. We're no different than any team. When you're at the top of your game, the best wants to play for you. That's why, with the addition of our new shop foreman and the rest of our body shop crew, Landers now has a combined experience of over 70 years in dealing with the best parts and repair finishes on the market. This means when you walk into Landers, you can breathe a little easier knowing that your vehicle will receive the best quality repair by the best certified technicians within a reasonable amount of time. Again and again, we work directly with most insurance companies and have loaners and rental vehicles on site for your convenience. We're proud to not only be the standard, but to keep raising the bar in collision repair. Come meet the staff, take a tour of our facilities, and get to know the Landers crew that Landers Collision has so proudly acquired. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. Give us a call, 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
State Farm, this is Jessica.
Hey, Jessica, Jerry Newman. Does State Farm offer more discounts to more drivers?
Yep, like the good driver discount.
So it's for good, but not great drivers.
No, Jerry. There's also the multi-line discount.
For calling from multiple lines while driving.
You should never use a phone while driving.
I only make calls from my car when I'm stuck in a ditch or something.
Are you in a ditch?
Yes, I am.
State Farm offers more discounts to more drivers than any other insurance company. Get to a better state.
One more reason to call State Farm agent Tony Wilton Mount Vernon at 242-1421.
Rolling on the Saturday Sports Show, running a little bit behind today. Brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital, it's what healthcare should be. Hearing word, we'll get verification later of more cancellations coming in. But joining us now, and probably one of the driest parts of the state this morning, wasn't yesterday, is Bo Meyer, voice of Nashville Athletics on our sister station, WNSV 104.7 FM. And Bo, it's not raining this morning. You guys might actually get games in on time today.
Yeah, hey, how's it going, Danny? Yeah, it's 30% chance up here in East Peoria. Could rain a little bit later, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Tough. Yesterday I was in another ballpark north, Wrigley Field, watching and reading as the game updates came through, but kind of a disjointed game. Obviously, you start the game, Nashville gives up that 3-run home run, long delay. Tell our listeners just how things were going yesterday as far as the game and the delays and everything else.
It was interesting. It was interesting to say the least. I know you know Matt Trohoff.
Yes.
He's one of the vice presidents of the IHSA. Wonderful fella, great guy. And he worked his butt off all day. Hornets were supposed to play Kankakee Bishop McNamara at 5:30 in the second 2A semifinal softball game, and they moved it up to noon. Then they moved it back to 2:30. Then they moved it up to 1 o'clock. Then we wound up playing, and then we had a 2 or 3 hour rain delay and lightning delay. But we got the games in, and everybody worked really hard at it. It was different. Macy Ingram, who pitched for the Hornets when they won the state title last year, come out in the bottom of the first inning. Allie Rashinkos, the shortstop, who's going to West Point, wonderful player. She hits a solo home run. A few batters later, then Jenna Stauffenberg, the catcher, hits a 2-run homer, and then rain stopped things with the Fighting Irish leading 3-0 after 2 innings. And we came back several hours later, and from that point, Ingram retired all 12 batters she faced, wound up giving up less hits than their pitcher, Jalen Hull, 4 hits compared to Hull's 6 hits. She struck out 12, didn't walk a batter, but it was just one of those days. But Nashville fought back in the top of the 7th inning, scored a couple of runs, and we had runners on second and third with Nicole Deering at the plate. She's going to SEMO on a softball scholarship next year, and she's very fast, slap hitter, hits it into the hole. Not one player all season long at shortstop had thrown Deering out on a play like this, but Rashinskas backhanded the ball and threw Deering out at first base on a bang-bang play, and had that play not been made, Nashville would have gone ahead because our runner at third base, Abby Lisk, would have scored. Emily Thompson was ahead of the play. She was rounding third, coming home. She would have scored the go-ahead run had Deering been safe at first base. So that just shows you how close things can happen. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't.
Was there kind of a shock because, like you said, you got a state championship pitcher on the hill for Nashville on the mound, I should say in the circle. Did it kind of was a shock because the home run happens, then the delay? Was there kind of a shock from the Hornets side of things? Hey, wait a minute, we're down 3-0. What's going on here?
Oh, sure. But that's what Nashville did last year against St. Joe Ogden, which was undefeated and trying to tie the state record that Nashville held, the previous Nashville team, for most victories in a year. St. Joe Ogden was a heavy favorite last year, and Macy Ingram wound up winning the game. And then I remember distinctly, and I was talking to Hornet coach Dempsey Whitty about that last night. He said Macy Ingram was getting the benefit of a wide strike zone last year. I mean, he had a good perspective behind home plate, and it'd be several inches outside, but the play was being called. It was a wide strike zone, and she took advantage of it. And yesterday, Jalen Hull, she's going to pitch at Bradley next year. She's very, very good, a lefty who throws hard. Her pitches were anywhere from 5 to 6 inches outside, but they were getting the call, and then Macy adjusted also, and she was throwing it outside the zone. And, you live by it, you die by it. I think we got the break last year, but not so much this year. I mean, when you have a kid like Shea Hari, the potential All-Stater who's going to play for the Saluki women next year, she had not struck out all season, not once. She was called out on strikes twice in both the first and fourth innings on pitches that were outside, but it was the umpire strike zone, and you adjust to it, and you get used to it, and that's just the way it goes sometimes.
And it's the way it goes, and obviously Nashville had runners on late and had an opportunity to tie or take the lead, couldn't get the job done, and now the tough turnaround, as you know, to play in a third-place game is, do you see it, Nashville kind of being down, obviously being down, nobody wants to play in third place, but do you think it'll bother a veteran team like this to have to play for third place today?
Yeah, girls are loose. They were loose last night. They'll be fine. Peru St. Bede is a good ball club. I want to say they're like 24-6. But no, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. The state championship game should be a dandy.
Yeah.
Got Tremont. They're rated 4th in state. They're 29-0. Bishop McNamara is 34-0, number 1 rated team in the state. So if we stick around and watch it, that'll be fun too.
Speaking of sticking around, what did the facilities at East Peoria? What do the teams do when this rain and delays come in? Do they put them on a bus? Do they send them back somewhere? Or what do these teams do while they wait for the rain to go away, as it did yesterday?
Yeah, teams take different options. I know Nashville got on a bus and went back to the Stony Creek Inn, which is where we're staying. Wonderful place. They're very nice. They got a lot of stuffed animals in the lobby and things like that. And I saw a stuffed animal this morning. I kind of poked it and realized it was just one of the Hornet fans who stayed up too late last night. It wasn't moving too well. But otherwise, it's a neat place. And Nashville got on the bus and went back and kind of recouped. Bishop Mac, they kind of hung around. And I think that rain delay of several hours helped Nashville. They got away from the field and barely got back in time for the start of the game, to be honest with you. Bishop Mac had warmed up, and they were ready to go and psyched out, but Nashville just said, the heck with it. We're going to walk away, and they came back, and that's what happens. They kind of come and go. Depends on how close your hotel is to the field. By the way, you guys are always giving our pitching coach, Wayne Hari, heck for not riding the bus along with the team, because he's a farmer, and he likes to drive on his own. He was going to ride the team bus. I think I'm going to use this at the Welcome Home Pep Assembly Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, but I'll give you a preview of this. Because this is one of those don't tell Bo stories. They're always saying when something funny happens, don't tell Bo, because they'll spill the beans on the radio. But Wayne Hari hadn't ridden the bus all season, but he said, I'm going to ride the bus this time. On Thursday night, they were all going to go to they have like a meeting, a conference, all the teams get together. It's a nice banquet. Well, they had to be in the lobby at 5:52. 5:53, Dempsey looks around, doesn't see Wayne Hari, and he says, hey, he hasn't ridden the bus all year. He says, he's not going to be here on time. We're going to leave. So they take off. Wayne had to go to the bathroom. I think he had some tacos or something. So he comes downstairs, looks around in the lobby. No one's there. And he saw a lady, kind of a jovial lady, standing there, and he says, where's the Nashville High School bus? She looks at him, and she says, That bus is gold. He missed the bus. The one time he tried to get on it, he missed the bus.
Hey, was he the one that you poked in the lobby that was a stuffed animal?
I tell you what, man, he could have been. It wasn't. He could have been.
That's awesome to hear. Because, see, we gave him a hard time. We asked, we asked him and Dempsey Whitty all about it. I asked him earlier in the week, I said, are you planning to ride the bus or the Harley? And he said, well, if I could take it, I'd ride the Harley, but I'm taking the truck. Like you said, he drives on his own. Now he misses the bus. See, this is fodder we can use for years to come on him.
That's right.
Yeah, so Nashville plays for third today. No loss in that. You said a mention of a gathering in Nashville. What's going on tomorrow when the Hornets get back into town?
Yeah, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, we have a welcome home pep assembly, and it's fun. We let the coaches talk. We let a couple of the seniors, Shea Hari and Nicole Daring, talk for a little bit. And we're also going to honor, and we're going to broadcast this live, by the way, on the V and V1047.com. And we're also going to honor our state bass fishing team. This is the first time they've ever gone to state. And the 51 boats after day one at Carlisle Lake yesterday, Nashville is in 6th place. So that's kind of neat. So we're going to honor them. And we also had a couple of Hornet discus throwers that placed in state. Evan Holly got 4th. Chase Hagney got 5th, and we'll recognize them. And just have a little fun and have a chance for people to meet the kids and say congratulations and pat them on the back for a good season.
And well-deserved and a lot of fun. This brings us to, as I promised you yesterday, it's an easy question for our sports social media question of the week. And this week,
Punk.
Yeah, no. It won't. No. This involves maybe in Peoria because I don't know where you ate at. You could have went to one of these places. But anyway, how do you like your steak cooked?
It's interesting you bring that up because I have gotten abuse about this for years. I like my steak sitting there in a pool of blood. I like to get my eggs sunny side up, runny, and then the steak as rare as you can get it. It's called either blue center or cold center. Restaurants have different designations for that, but they take it out of the freezer and then warm it up just a little bit. So I like to have the yellow from the egg and the red from the meat all swimming together there.
There you go.
That's the only way to eat it, man.
There you go. So you haven't been to the local steakhouse up there that everybody likes to frequent in March?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I haven't gone across the river. I'm staying on the east side this weekend.
Okay. All right. You're staying out of that. Okay. I see how it is. Hey, we'll be listening today.
I have a lot of places in Peoria that some people have recommended to me, but I haven't done that for 30 years.
Well, you know what? That's what people do to me, too. And I said, I don't think I need to be over there. That wouldn't be good for me. You know, there's just some things, like you said, you get recommendations, but you don't have to take all recommendations at times. Hey, we're going to be listening today to the third place game. It's going to get started around 3 o'clock on 104.7 FM, the V. And, Bo, thanks for joining us this morning. We know you got a busy weekend, but we appreciate your time and talking about the Hornets and everything else going on in Nashville athletics. A very fun time for Nashville and Nashville High School and the community.
It's a good ride. We'll keep on riding it. You guys keep on doing the good job that you do, Danny. You work your butts off. I tell you what, you never take a Saturday off, do you?
We try. We try to work, let me tell you. We follow your mold. We follow you and how you do things. That's what we're trying to do. Work hard.
That's right.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Bo. Have a good weekend.
Yep, you too, man. See ya.
Bo Meyer, the voice of Nashville Athletics on WNSV, 104.7, that game today, as I mentioned, for third place, as Nashville will play at 3 o'clock against Peru St. Bede, the third place game. Speaking of information, this has just come across the wire. The Mount Vernon Rams baseball game with Triad today has been canceled, stating the obvious. And that game will be rescheduled and be played on Monday at 4:30 at Effingham. So race your plans to go to Effingham this afternoon. Mount Vernon baseball versus Triad will now be Monday at 4:30 at Effingham. We got to take a quick break. We got to get on the other side. We're going to talk to Goreville High School Athletic Director Todd Tripp and how busy he's been the last couple of weeks, being an athletic director, hosting 2 sectionals and helping with the team get to state. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
Learn to live healthy, learn to live well, and learn how you can live free from unexpected medical expense with a major medical expense policy from Pekin Insurance and the Page Agency. Health insurance that covers hospital, medical, and surgical expenses offers a wide choice of deductibles and a non-tobacco user discount, too. Rising medical costs don't have to be a problem with a major medical expense policy from Pekin Insurance. This is coverage we hope you'll never need, but you just can't be without. Call the Page Agency at 242-7000 about a major medical health insurance plan today.
When you hear the warm, inviting sound of a crackling fire, what comes to mind? A rustic campground? A cozy cabin? How about the new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center? Our new family lounges feature a lot of comforts you might not expect. Things like this. No, that's not a babbling brook or serene stream out in the countryside. It's a 2-story waterfall located right here at Good Samaritan. And that's not the only way we're raising the bar for patient comfort. We've added lush healing gardens, as well as wall after wall of beautiful artwork, all designed to create the perfect healing atmosphere. And if all this sounds like music to your ears, we encourage you to check us out. Chances are, we're not too far from where you are right now.
The new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center. Raising a hospital, raising the bar.
Southern Illinois now has a better home for sports. It's the all-new WMIXSports.com. Jam-packed with local scores, video highlights, and archives of every local sports broadcast on WMIX. Did your team win? Missed that game-winning shot last night? Didn't catch your favorite coach on the Saturday Sports Show? WMIXSports.com is right at your fingertips. On your computer, your smartphone, your tablet, or your video game console. It's the all-new WMIXSports.com. Another free service from Withers Broadcasting.
Saturday Sports Show on WMIX. The Mount Vernon Rams baseball game today has been canceled with Triad at Effingham. It'll be moved to Monday at 4:30. Going to the dry part of the state, going to Peoria. Joining us is the athletic director of Goreville High School, Mr. Todd Tripp. And Mr. Tripp, how are you this morning there in the big city of Peoria?
We're doing good, buddy. We're starting around here, getting ready to go to the ballpark. So everything's going pretty good.
Going pretty good. The reason I wanted to have you on is I want to tell everybody just how busy you have been the last few weeks. Go as an AD side of things. Go back to last couple of weeks ago, you hosted a baseball and a softball sectional. The process and the work entailed in those two things, having to put those on from your position as an athletic director.
You put in for that hoping you can at least get the host one and hoping your team might be there. And we got lucky to host both of them this year at the same time. But it does take a lot of work, and luckily we have a lot of people around Goreville that like to help out and do what they can to make things good and try to be a good host. And then we got all the rain that just added on, getting the games in and added more work. But we were busy and. Like I said, luckily we have a lot of help that makes things go a lot smoother.
Make things go a lot smoother. And, of course, on the one side, you had, of course, the Black Cats of Goreville softball team playing in that sectional. And I remember highlights on the TV, you get to walk over and you got to present that Goreville team, your team, with a sectional championship plaque. How does that, after a week of having 6 games to get in, how does that feel to walk over and be able to hand your school a sectional championship plaque?
It feels real good. To give it to your own team and knowing you're going on, it makes all the hard work, worth it. Just like the first round of sectional, we had played Galatia, and we knew they were a good team, and we actually worked on the field all day long trying to get that thing dried out. And when our girls came out and put up 10, 11 runs, that made it made it all worth it that day too. But it felt good to give the girls a plaque and give them a chance to keep going and have another run at state.
Now, this is the thing where it starts to get tricky because a lot of people say, okay, Goreville then goes to the Super and wins the Super at Johnson City. At that point, a lot of people think, okay, everybody shows up in Peoria Friday and everybody plays. But at that point, as an athletic director, when Goreville gets that final out, from there to yesterday at Peoria, what is entailed in the paperwork and what's involved as far as you working with the coaches and things of preparation of going to and being in Peoria?
Our first year here when we came with the boys, 4 years ago, that was a madhouse because we've never done it before, and we didn't know what to expect, and that was pretty rough. This being the 4th year in a row that we've been fortunate enough to come to state tournament makes things a lot easier. You kind of know what to do, but probably the most important thing after we won the Super is you get on your cell phone and you try to get rooms. The IHSA does not block off rooms for the team, so you're on your own trying to get rooms for the teams, and you got a lot of fans wanting rooms, so we just try to block off as many rooms as we can. We have a good following. We have a lot of people who come up and support our girls, and they all need rooms too. We try to help them out, and block off rooms so they all have one. But and then again, our girls this second year in a row. So our coach, Coach Massey, she was prepared last year, and she's prepared this year. She's got everything ready to go, and keep the girls busy when they're up here, and know when they need to go out to eat and things like that. So that helps an AD out too when your coach is prepared and knows what to do.
When you get to that point, you talked about Coach Massey, and of course Goreville defending state champs. Yesterday, run into another softball power in Toledo Cumberland and lose 8-4. I mean, that game to me was so back and forth. It seemed like to me reading the Twitter updates where Toledo jumped out, Goreville came back. A back and forth game between two softball teams that could very well be state champs today if they were split apart.
Oh, I believe so. I mean, that was a very good team we played yesterday. We jumped out on them, and like I said, they came back, and we come back. They tried to pitch around Odom and kind of accidentally throw her a strike, and then they ended up going at her, and then she hit one out, so the momentum switched again. But they swung the bats very well yesterday, and they were the better team yesterday.
We're the better team yesterday, and of course Goreville will play here at 10 o'clock. That's why you're getting rousted up against Illini Bluffs at 10 a.m. for third place. Nothing to be ashamed of, because, I mean, this has been a great run for baseball and softball. Goreville getting to Peoria and winning trophies left and right. It's got to be a good time for Goreville and the community as well.
It's a great time. Everybody's excited, and just have to make more room in the trophy case, which is a good problem to have. So
that's a good problem. And also, I think one off-side note, give you a little pub. Next Saturday, I believe, Friday, Saturday, you host a boys basketball tournament for the summer?
Yes, Friday we have an 18 tournament starting at 8:30, and Saturday we start at 8 o'clock, and got 16 teams coming in to play. So there's some very good teams coming in to play. Should be exciting. If you like to watch basketball, come on down. Come on down
to Goreville. And, of course, we're going to let you go because I know you're busy. We got our final question, our social media question of the week. And this week's question's an easy one. How do you like your steak cooked?
Medium well.
Medium well. Okay.
Used to be well, but I'm older I get, it's more.
I've had somebody else say that earlier. One of our other guests said, as older I get medium. I think it was Scott Gamber said that. So it must be a basketball coach thing.
I guess so.
Hey, Todd, thanks for joining us. Thanks for telling us what athletic directors have to do and work hard and deal with. And we appreciate your time, and we wish Goreville nothing but the best and bring back that third-place trophy today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Todd Tripp, the athletic director at Goreville High School. We'll take a break and come back. On the other side, Lance Bolt will be on to talk high school softball about the Rams, Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
Don't just dream about a better job. Go get it with scores of programs that take 2 years, 1 year, or even just a few months to complete. Rend Lake College is your gateway to a career you'll love. From nursing to coal mining, from computer programming to cosmetology, and everything in between. Rend Lake College is affordable, convenient, and ready to get you trained for your new job fast. Call us at 618-437-5321 or visit us at rlc.edu.
The Saturday Sports Show lives here. AM 940 WMIX Mount Vernon. A free service from Withers Broadcasting.
The Medicine Shop in Mount Vernon would like to announce the grand opening of a custom compounding lab located right next door. What is compounding, you ask? Well, quite simply, it's working with your doctor to solve problems. Have you ever had an infant who couldn't keep antibiotics down? Compounding is formulating that drug into a suppository. Problem solved. Have you ever been nauseous and unable to take tablets? We can compound that anti-nausea drug into a cream you simply apply to the skin. Problem solved. Worried about side effects or risks associated with oral pain medication or hormone therapy? We can compound pain medications or hormone meds into a topical cream that will avoid most, if not all, of the risks and side effects. Problem solved. These are just a small sampling of our ability to better serve our patients. It's another way we at the Medicine Shop stand out from the competition. Give the staff at the Medicine Shop a call today.
I'm Kevin Snyder with a look at your next rad weather. Mostly cloudy, warm, and humid today with a couple of strong thunderstorms around, which can bring hail and damaging winds. High around 80. Then we'll see a shower or thunderstorm in spots for the evening. Otherwise, mostly cloudy tonight. Low 58 in the countryside to 62 in town. Less humid tomorrow, cooler with a high 72. Partly sunny Monday, high 73. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
a busy morning on the Saturday Sports Show, going straight to Lance Bolt, the head coach of the Mount Vernon Lady Rams softball team. Coach, thanks for joining us this morning. And a year over softball, did it go very quick being the head coach of a softball team?
Yeah, it went fast once we got through the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, because those first few weeks we were just we weren't doing a whole lot as far as getting outside. So there were some long weeks early on with the weather, but yeah, I'd say from about mid-April on, it just flew by.
Speaking of flew by, you got in the regional, lost to eventual regional champion Carbondale 6-5 weather issue, thing like that. But anyway, looking at your team, though, to me, when we did the games as the season went on, your team improved mightily as the season went on and got better before it ended.
Yeah, I really think so. I think defensively especially we got a lot better. Part of that was just having the chance to get outside more. And you know, we made a few changes on the field, but, you know, just the constant work, getting out there and doing the little things. I thought that we started hitting our cuts better and just tracking fly balls, those types of things. We improved a lot. Bunt situations, we got a lot better. But, you know, early in the year, we're making 5-6 errors a ball game. We weren't really giving ourselves a good chance to win games. And so at least late in the year, we got that down to 1 or 2 errors a game and competed a whole lot better. Made it easier for our pitchers, took the pressure off of them a little bit because, you know, as you saw, we don't strike a lot of girls out. We gotta make plays, and we definitely did that as the season went along.
And you went along and had a very good season and ended up very nicely at start with your program. And this past week, you had your end-of-the-year awards program and awards thing for your team. Talk about your winners and what awards were given out this past week. Uh-oh, I heard a click. Did you hear a click? I heard a click. Ruh-roh. Maybe we'll call him back real quick and see what happens. Lance Bolt was joining us, and technology's technology. There's a phone call back. We'll see if it is. If it is, it is. We'll remind you while we wait that the Mount Vernon Rams baseball game at Effingham today that was supposed to be at 1 p.m. against Triad has been canceled due to the inclement weather, and obviously playing field will be wet. That game has been moved back to 4:30. On Monday afternoon at Effingham. You can listen to that game on AM 940, and I believe we have Lance Bolt back with us. Coach, you back with us again? Maybe. Our coach, are you with us now? I don't hear anything. Coach Bolt, one more time?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, there we go. Hey, you had this past week, you had your awards program. Talk about your winners and who won what awards this week at your awards program.
We had the banquet on Thursday, and we had 4 awards that we gave out. We gave out most, we call it the Lady Ram Award, just most hustle, very coachable, worked hard, that type of player. We gave that award to Lauren Wilson, a sophomore, who's just, she was willing to go out in the outfield. She's an infielder. We have a lot of infielders, and she's one of them, but she was willing to go out in the outfield, and she wanted to play. And, she's just a very coachable girl and a team player. She works really hard, and she's the epitome of what we want in a softball player as far as attitude and character. So she got that award, deservingly so. Best offensive player went to Paige Clinton. She came very close to breaking a couple school records. One of them was hits in the season. She came up just a couple shy there. And, we only played 27 games, so we play our normal 30 to 35 games. She probably breaks that record along with the doubles record and maybe the run scored record. So she just had a terrific year offensively. Hit the ball hard, it seemed like about every time, and made things happen. And then the best defensive award also went to Paige Clinton. And again, if you remember, halfway through the season, we had to take her from catcher, which is her position, and move her to shortstop. And she just really solidified the middle infield for us and made things better for everybody defensively. So she got that award. And the best pitcher award went to Hannah Wright. Hannah was a workhorse. She threw half the innings on the season, and unfortunately for us and for her, she developed tendonitis about halfway through the year in her shoulder, and we weren't able to pitch her like we wanted to. But she had a great year still, pitching for us. But Hannah Wright, Paige Clinton, Lauren Wilson, those are the players that got those awards. And then we had a couple girls make all conference team, first team. Paige Clinton and Hannah Wright both made that, so they had really good seasons.
off into the season, off season, school's out, summer's here. Is there anything you plan to do with your 25 days, or are you going to let the girls go off on their travel teams and have their softball time?
Well, we have some dates this summer where we're going to meet and get some things done, but I really pushed for the girls to play on a travel team and play as much ball as possible. I'd say about 2/3 of the girls are playing for a travel team this summer.
Go ahead.
And they met with me individually and let me know who they're playing for, and I'm going to try to get out and see them a little bit. But we do have some dates planned and expect to use those.
Speaking of dates planned, it is summertime, and we know you're very busy this morning. Our social media question of the week this week involves summertime, and it is, how do you like your steak cooked?
I absolutely love to grill out, and we do that at least once a week as far as grilling out steaks. And I'd say medium to medium rare is how I like mine done. I just want it crisp on the outside, really get the flame hot, and then I just like it on the inside, just a little bit of red, and that's just the way I like it. My wife's the same way. We do that at least once a week.
Well, that's a nice thing when you don't have to worry about cooking two different kinds of steak, isn't it?
Oh, exactly. It's great. Easy for me, and we do it all year. I mean, even in the wintertime, I'll get the grill going in the backyard, out on the back deck, and I absolutely love to grill out. So we had a lot of fun with it.
Hey, Lance, we thank you for taking time not only this morning but throughout the season. We enjoyed doing the games this year. We look forward to doing the games in 2014, the spring of Lady Rams softball. Thank you for taking time out this morning and joining us.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great summer.
Lance Bolt, that was. He is the head coach of the Mount Vernon Lady Rams softball team as they finished up their season, losing in the regional semis to eventual regional champion Carbondale. And they had their awards program this past week, and, of course, we'll do a lot of their games next year as well. And while we got a moment before our next guest at 9:15, we'll have another break take, obviously. Let's get caught up on. Kind of left everybody hanging there. I dropped the pin, that's why. Nothing major going on. Of course, let's catch everybody up on some things. First off, as I mentioned, I'll mention again throughout the time, we've already posted on Twitter at WMIX Sports. We've also put it on Facebook, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. The Mount Vernon Rams baseball game this afternoon with Triad, it's supposed to be at 1 o'clock, has been canceled. It'll be Monday at 4:30. It'll be at Effingham. You can, if you want to go, or if you want to stay here, you can listen to the game on AM 940 WMIX or online at WMIXsports.com. And when we have that going on, we'll be listening with the pregame 4:15. So Rams versus Triad now will be Monday at 4:30 in Effingham. The SIGA men's golf tournament at Hickory Ridge has been canceled. The Bass Fishing State Tournament at Carlisle Lake is in a weather delay, last we read on Twitter. So if you're heading out there, 51 boats will head out today on game 2. Or on day 2, I should say, that state bass fishing tournament. The baseball semifinals in 2A are underway. Pleasant Plains has a 3-2 lead now over Eureka with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th as that game goes on. The third-place games in 1A and 2A baseball will be 5-inning games. Softball in Peoria running on time, so they won't have any problems. And East Peoria, if anybody's thinking about going up and watching baseball or softball. And, of course, Rams camp is this week at Chagnon Gym on the campus of Mount Vernon High School. If you are going into grades 2nd through 6th, your camp will be from 9:30 to noon, Monday through Thursday. And if you're going in grades 7, 8, and 9, your camp will be in the afternoon on Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 2:30 at Chagnon Gym. This week, it's that time of year for basketball camps and whatnot. If you're wanting high school basketball, it's actually something to do today because it is raining outside, and golfers like me will have to watch the clubs collect dust one more day. You can go to Waltonville High School. The high school boys basketball tournament going on this morning. I'm sure at both gyms, the high school and the grade school going on. So if you're looking for something to do sports-wise and you don't want to sit in the house, you can go to Waltonville High School and watch some basketball as that tournament's going on. Brian Gamber, the coach of the Waltonville Spartans, hosting that. The Mount Vernon Rams are down there as well. Wayne City making a trip over, as we saw on the Twitter. Head coach Russ Gerlach heading over to Waltonville with his team. So a lot of good teams at Waltonville this morning playing each other and doing some different things there as well. So if you want to head on over to Waltonville, got nothing to do, you can do that. Of course, the Cardinals have a doubleheader today on the FM side. I know that first pitch I think is at noon, so doubleheader today in St. Louis with the Cardinals. So if you want to listen to that, it's on FM. So all kinds of things. We also remind you to go to our Facebook facebook.com/WMIX Sports page, as we have posted the social media question of the week, and I know it's something that everybody can answer, because my goodness, who besides vegetarians obviously know what to do with their steak? You know, how do you want your steak cooked? How do you like it cooked? So we'll go to facebook.com/WMIX Sports and answer it there, because we've already had several responses, and as I look through it, it's basically medium well. We had some ones that answered mooing, not mooing, so, you know, everybody has their own taste. We know some people don't like the steak mooing at them, so, you know, some people want it cooked, some people don't. Go to facebook.com/WMIX Sports. Put your answer there of how do you like your steak cooked. We need to take a break. When we come back, we're going to switch back over to the summer basketball side of things over our next two guests. The first one, girls basketball. The next one, boys basketball. Who are they? You have to stay around to find out. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank, asking why you bank with Community First Bank. Is it knowing your deposits are also vital to home loans in Jefferson County and our local economy? Is it having your choice of convenient locations and ATMs? Is it seeing a staff of friendly faces you recognize as your neighbors? These are all reasons enough to count, though you only need one, and we are honored you chose us. Community First Bank, welcome back to personal banking. Member FDIC.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician within 30 minutes of your arrival, when minutes matter. Choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
Saturday Sports Show brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It's what healthcare should be. On the first Saturday of June, a rainy Saturday, obviously, outside, but with it raining outside, we turn our thoughts to inside activities because of the rain and whatnot, and one of those is an upcoming Lady Rams basketball camp. And who better to talk to about Lady Rams basketball camp than the head coach of the Mount Vernon Lady Rams high school basketball team, Jeff Lonan. Coach Lonan, I know it's a little different for you to be talking to us in June, but how's it going on summer vacation for you so far?
Well, we just rolling on our third day. I mean, you know, we went to school we came up Wednesday for a retirement luncheon. So really Thursday was the first day we had off, so I took that opportunity to go out and catch as many fish as I could. And then Friday I felt like I needed to catch some more because the lake still had fish in it. I went out and did that. I think I caught just about all of them. So now today, we're having our first open gym for the summer for our regular basketball team. So we had 30 girls. Actually, I just left the gym to talk to you. We had 30 girls in the gym when I left. So that's encouraging. I had about 15 to 17. I didn't get a head count. 15, 16, 17 freshmen, something like that. So, and then I know there's a couple here that couldn't be here. So I know that we're looking at, numbers in the mid-30s right now, and that's for summer, and that's tremendous. So that started my day out right.
That's a good deal to have that many. And success of the past season, South 7 Conference champs, winning, heck of a job. We got all kinds of people coming in. That's nice to hear with the numbers out right now for your team.
Sure is. Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what you want. But, those winning seasons aren't guaranteed. You got to keep it going, and the only way you can keep it going is if you got kids interested who want to learn and get better and all those good things. So, but at least we've got bodies to work with, and that's all you can really ask for.
All you can ask for, and of course, with your team obviously having an open gym, 25 practice days you can use for your team. Let's get to Lady Rams basketball camp coming up. That's where the future begins. Talk about Lady Rams camp, when it's coming up, and the dates and times and whatnot.
Well, our camp is going to be from the 10th of June. It's actually 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. That's a Monday through Thursday. It's coming up here pretty quick, actually. We take kids entering the second grade all the way up to the ninth grade. And our ninth graders, of course, would be also our incoming freshman group for this coming basketball season this winter. So we divide that up into two different time segments. We have the young ones, 2 through 6, come in at 9 a.m., and then they will be out here at 11:30. And then our 7, 8, and 9, grade 7, 8, and 9 come in from noon to 2:30. Cost is $40, and that includes a T-shirt. And for our ninth graders, the last 2 days of camp, which would be the 13th and 14th, we go to Salem for a tournament. So we enrolled them in a tournament in Salem. So they'll come to camp on basically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday they're going to go to Salem, and Friday they're going to go to Salem. So for the ninth graders, they've got a really super busy week. And that's kind of, we're going to bring a school bus in here and bus them up here just like we would in November, and kind of give them, a crash course right off the bat and how it works here with actually riding buses and playing games and all that right off here in the first week of June. So, we want to get them acclimated to those situations here at the high school, and I think that's a good little way to do it. We've done it in the past with our ninth graders, but we've sent them off in the past to Greenville, and we just felt like Salem's closer, and with the gas the way it is and transportation, it just makes more sense to go to Salem. So the ninth graders have a full week of camp, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, and then 15th, and then the rest of them will be here on 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. So we encourage anybody who's entering the second grade all the way to the ninth grade to come in on the morning of the 10th and sign their kids up for camp and leave them here with us for a couple hours, and they'll have a good time.
And that's this thing to me is a lot of times with camps, I talked to Coach Camber about Rams camp, but it seems like the Mount Vernon camps, it's not just pay your money, get a little prize, go play 3-on-3, knockout, 5-on-5, lay up lines for half an hour. There's actually some fundamentals and things taught in this camp for second graders on up that you may or may not get at other camps around the area.
Yeah, it's just very important. I think, we try not to babysit them. We try to actually, try to teach them a few basic things. And obviously, the younger they are, the more simplistic it has to be. But still, if a kid comes away who's in the second or third or fourth grade with just one or two, fundamentals, we don't get into hundreds of things, and we're not complicated. But if we can focus on just a few things with those young ones, those things stick. And that kids are creatures of habit. If they're taught something, they will repeat it, and we try to kind of stick that in them here when they come in, and then the older kids, this 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9th graders are a little more advanced, and we can get into, more fundamentals, and we can actually, talk a little bit more about the game itself, playing the game, and maybe a few of the things that we emphasize here from philosophy standpoints, but you can't really get into that with the real young ones. That's more of a fundamental deal. But whatever age it is, we try to kind of adjust and work at their level. But we really try to have them get something out of it rather than just babysitting them and feeding them Gatorades and donuts for 2.5 hours, and they walk away with a T-shirt, and then I think they also have a good time, and maybe in the process they learn something.
Speaking, as you said, the younger kids get the fundamentals, but I think, too, the younger kids get a feel. They get to play in Shagnon Gym. They get to be around high school kids that are playing. They get to be around you and your staff. Basically, isn't that where the groundwork for them to start thinking about playing, this is going to be something they're going to be doing, hey, this is where I'm going to be, kind of gives them that fever to do what they need to do as far as being a Lady Rams basketball player?
Well, you hope so, and quite honestly, the percentage of, first of all, mostly, I would say 95% of the kids that we have that go on to become, varsity starters, varsity contributors, or members of this camp at some point in their time, usually way back, when they were in second or third grade. So there is a correlation. It's not 100% correlation, but there's a correlation between, getting involved young and then, actually making it to the fore as a varsity basketball player. Because, that percentage is very small. And quite honestly, if you have,
if we draw 80 kids into camp this year, obviously in the perfect world, you'd hope that they'd all like it, love it, want to be a part of it. But the reality is not all of them will. And in the end, actually, a very small percentage end up actually playing 4 years of basketball. When you count everybody that's in the camp, but at the same time, you gave them the opportunity. It gives them a chance to know whether they want to do it or not. So then, by the time they get to high school, they've already had that experience. They know if they want to be a piece of it or if they don't want to be a piece of it. And it serves kind of a purpose there too. So, I encourage everybody to try because, all you got to do is love it a little bit. And when you love it, you work hard at it and you want to be around it. And that just kind of gets contagious, and then on the other hand, there's some kids who can't stand it and they don't want to be a part of it. It's too much work and too much running and all that, and that's okay too. We're all I don't like tomatoes, and you might like tomatoes, except for Hugo, he likes everything.
Right.
It doesn't matter with him. But my thing is just try it, just try it, and you're going to know whether you like it or not from a very young age, and you're going to know whether you want to come back to it, whether you don't. And, all our kids, like I said, most of them have been through it. They're with us now, and that's kind of where the roots started. So I would encourage all the parents to bring them up, let them get a taste of it and see if they like it or not. And if they do, hopefully they'll come back and eventually be varsity players for us.
As a coach in a high school of over 1,000, the Romans well over 1,000, how much of a misconception is it for people to say, well, Mount Vernon's got over 1,100 kids, they should have all kinds of people to choose from and play basketball, blah, blah, blah. How much of a misconception is that?
It's a huge misconception. We draw from, to be very honest with you, all our sports. Boys and girls draw from a relatively small pool of athletes that have stuck with it and made the commitment for that particular sport. We have to share athletes across the board. I mean, we have our best athletes here are multi-sport athletes that we share with other sports. In girls, we share, with volleyball, we share with softball. It's not a situation where I think the perception, and probably my perception, when I didn't work here, 8 or 10 years ago, was, my gosh, Mount Vernon, they've got, their enrollment, 1,200, 1,300. They must have, kids just, running over the brim, playing every different sport there is. And when you get here, you realize that it's not that way. It's a very small percentage of kids that prop up our athletic programs on both sides. And, so we're constantly as coaches encouraging and promoting our programs to try to expand on that number because, you're even in a school our size, no matter what sport you're in, you're very blessed if you've got a team full of really good players. And if you don't, then, you got to figure out ways to compete and win when you don't have, a group full of talented players. So, regardless, we kind of walk the fine line, really, with our numbers and being competitive and all that. So we always encourage more commitment from more kids. And, I guess that kind of somewhat relates to what we're doing with our basketball camp, is we're just constantly trying to recruit kids in, hopefully get them to love the sport, hopefully get them to commit to it. So, we can kind of expand on our numbers and continue to run a successful athletic program, which we do here very well, I think. All our coaches, our athletic director, I think we do a pretty good job here of being competitive across the board in those sports. And but that's not a given. Every year is a different year, and you've got to get those numbers. You've got to get those kids that are on the fence who may or may not play. You got to get those kids out for you, and sometimes you win those kids, and sometimes you don't. And sometimes that can make a huge difference in the season you have. So it's a constant struggle, but we have to continue to promote these kids to be here and be out, and I think the best way to do that is hit them when they're young.
On the other side, like you said, the young fundamentals, your high school team, of course, the teams start the summer. Summer's on now. Of course, Gambert's got his team down at the Waltonville tournament today, and Benton has their tournament Tuesday. Goreville has a 2-day tournament next week, and everybody has these high school tournaments. It's summer. It's work time. You mentioned over 30 kids today at Open Gym for your team. What's the schedule for the Lady Rams this summer as far as games and workouts and whatnot is what you're getting in as far as your summer schedule?
We try to go try to have between 2 and 3. I think there's 1 week where we have 4 days over a 7-day period. So every 7 days we try to work out 3 times, whether that be an open gym, a practice, or going somewhere and playing. So, for instance, we'll start today and then we'll practice on Tuesday, and then we'll practice on Thursday, then we'll go to Frankfurt on Friday, and then we'll have the weekend off. We'll Frankfurt run the shootout down there. We go to a lot of little one-day shootouts held around the area, and then we go to a few bigger tournaments too. We go to Swick, and we go to Greenville. Those are probably our 2 biggest ones that we go to. And I'm talking strictly varsity here. I'm not talking about freshmen. Don't want to confuse anybody because they're going to Salem, as I said earlier, at the end of camp. But from a varsity standpoint, when you go to these shootouts and tournaments, you're getting multiple games. When you go, you're getting a minimum of 3 a day. It's not like you go play 1 and come home like in the season. The rules are a little different with timing and things like that to make that possible. So you end up playing about, I think we'll end up playing about 25, 26 games this summer. And, storage secondary, you like to win them all, I guess, deep down inside. But, in the summertime, you don't always have all your kids there. You've got conflicts and you're sharing kids with other sports. And oftentimes you're playing with a group in the summer that might not resemble the group you're going to play with in November. And Nashville's a great example of that. They share so many kids with softball, and you'll see Nashville out there this summer, and they'll have probably 8 freshmen and, sophomores, and then they have 1 varsity starter that's going to start next year, and they'll just, they probably won't win many games, but then when the season comes around, they'll be loaded to the hilt. So the idea is no matter who you have, is to get them out there and give them some experience, because at some time, even if they're not going to be a varsity starter, someday you hope they are. So it's a good training ground for them in the summer. And I think more importantly, it's probably a good time to build team chemistry and team camaraderie. I mean, just traveling together and eating at McDonald's and all those little things that you do as a group. They have fun, and they learn to like each other, and they learn to become friends better. And believe it or not, there's a little part of that comes out. When you're ahead by 2 points in the fourth quarter with a minute to go, there's something, I can't tell you what it is, but there's something about teams who are real close off the court versus teams who aren't in situations like that. And, you're constantly trying to build that little dynamic, too, whenever you're hauling kids around in the summer.
You mentioned the camaraderie, and I think for Mount Vernon, too, especially your freshmen, you mentioned, and even some of your sophomores getting used to varsity level. This is their time to kind of acclimate themselves to the high school level, whether it's a freshman coming into obviously a school of 1,200 kids and a big campus, or a sophomore or junior moving up to the varsity level, be it varsity players who have been there already. It's kind of an acclimation process, as you said, and that's got to help as far as learning new friends, learning teammates that could help them as far as the school side of things when they're not on the basketball floor together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, that was probably the gist of my conversation with the freshmen this morning. I pulled them out, and we had a little team meeting about, camaraderie and blending, into the team's, personality. And one of the things I tell freshmen all the time is if you come here and you don't hustle and you don't really act like you want to be here, the older kids who decide they're going to make this commitment and be here, and, all our older kids here right now are here for the long haul. You're not going to find too many kids left out of the sophomore, junior, and senior class who will quit now. Most of these, that mostly happens after the freshman year. So these kids know what's expected, and they know what's here, and and they're going to be looking at our freshmen, and practicing. They can spot who's in and who's out pretty quick, just by their effort and their attitude and things of that nature. And I can guarantee that our older kids are great when it comes to, young kids. They come in here and they practice hard, and they ask good questions, and they're polite, and all the things that we promote. They'll be adopted very quickly into the group. And that's one good thing that we have here is we always seem to have upperclassmen who paid the price and kind of know what it takes to get there. And we're at that point now, and that also helps with the the young kids becoming comfortable fast with our group, because we try not to really, you know, have the little freshman syndrome where, oh, they're just a freshman, or, you know, we try to respect freshmen just as we would respect, you know, our seniors. And, you know, when everybody's respected, regardless of what age they are, I think they feel a bigger part of the team and they feel much more comfortable being around it. So we really try to promote that. And I think in the end that builds a lot more teamwork and chemistry and camaraderie in the group as a whole.
Speaking of that, we can switch off. It is summertime. You mentioned you've been fishing, obviously, and you're 2 or 3 days off for summer. Our social media question of weeks, I think one that you can answer. It's an easy one. Everybody's gotten into this one. Jeff Crow has been excited about it all morning. This question is, how do you like your steak cooked?
I like my steak cooked medium well.
That's kind of a coach's thing right now. Everybody, all the coaches are saying medium well.
Well, you know, I'm not much of a, you know, I don't like it bleeding, you know, and I'm not one of these rare guys with 30 seconds on each side. You know, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's more of an ego thing a lot of times, is trying to impress people. Hey, throw it off. There's a guy in a restaurant I was at not too long ago. He ordered steaks at 30 seconds on each side, and he kind of looked around. I think he's trying to impress everybody. I don't try. Listen, I'm not going to impress anybody anymore. You know, I'm just there to, you know, eat what tastes good, and what tastes good is medium well to me. I don't have any pink in there, you know, and it's none, and I'm not going to get, you know, food poisoning or salmonella or mad cow disease or whatever you call that you get when you eat raw meat. So I like that, and I just like a nice natural baked potato, a little butter, sour cream, and you know, maybe some broccoli thrown in on the side with that, and a nice house salad beforehand, and that's as good as it gets right there.
Did you and I had a chance to eat in Peoria back in March. Did we not see somebody try the flip, 30 seconds, look at me, look around, look what I'm doing? Somebody did that in our group. We won't mention names, but didn't somebody do that in our group that went?
Very, very close to it. I don't remember who it was. Do you remember who it was?
I don't remember who it was. Seemed like I remember because I ordered a pork chops, pork steak. And I went over and was watching because they have the buttered bread at this establishment in Peoria, the steakhouse. And I think somebody in our group was over there trying to show off and act like they knew, you know, hey, look at me, like you said. I can't remember who it was.
I wasn't me, I guarantee you that. I mean, you know, hey, you know, he had his, I remember that. He had his steak off the grill before I even had thrown mine on there, and he was ready to eat. Yeah, that was bad. Who was that? We got to figure who that.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't Hugo.
No.
Hugo likes his cooked.
Right.
But I will tell you this, Hugo could probably handle it about any way. I mean, if you threw it 30 seconds on either side and that man was hungry, he'd eat it.
I agree.
Hugo was a man who orders waffles with his cheeseburger. And we went to Waffle House one time, and he ordered, like, whatever you call it, the big Waffle House Grand Slam version of Denny's, you know, the eggs and the pancakes and all that, toast, bacon. And then he ordered a cheeseburger on top of that. And that always kind of struck me as odd. And from that day forward, I realized Hugo was probably not going to win any healthy eating awards.
Yeah.
You know, at some point, you got to kind of figure that.
That's kind of what it is. With summer, we figured we'd ask you that, and we know we appreciate you being on the show this morning, promoting the Lady Rams camp, and of course talking about your team and their summer schedule going on. And it's a rainy day. I can't golf. You probably can fish, but we appreciate you joining us this morning on the Saturday Sports Show.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And again, you know, sign up for camp. Just bring them in the first morning on Monday the 10th. Ages going into second grade all the way up to ninth grade. You can register right here at the door at Shag Mountain Gymnasium. We'll have a table set up, and we'll have them for 4 days. And hopefully when they get done, they'll have a good time, and they'll have an appreciation for basketball.
Hey, Coach, thanks for joining us. I know you're heading back in. We appreciate you taking the time, and we'll catch up with you later, both on the air and off the air this summer.
All right. Thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you. That's Jeff Lyon, head coach of the Mount Vernon Lady Rams basketball team. Camp coming up June 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, 2nd through 6th grade, 9 to 11:30 a.m., 7th through 9, 12 to 2:30 p.m. It's $40. You get a T-shirt. Show up at Chagnon Gym on June 10th. Right before it starts at 9 o'clock, you can sign anybody up, pass the word along. Great camps to go to with the Lady Rams and the Rams camp coming up at Chagnon. We need to take a break. Coming back, we're running a little bit behind, but our guest in the anchor position knew that. We had discussed that. Who that is and who's going to anchor our show the rest of the way, or at least in that last interview spot, you'll have to stay tuned and find out. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
Southern Illinois now has a better home for sports. It's the all-new WMIXSports.com. Jam-packed with local scores, video highlights, and archives of every local sports broadcast on WMIX. Did your team win? Missed that game-winning shot last night? Didn't catch your favorite coach on the Saturday Sports Show? WMIXSports.com is right at your fingertips. On your computer, your smartphone, your tablet, or your video game console. It's the all-new WMIXSports.com. Another free service from Withers Broadcasting.
How do the best continue to get better? Hi, this is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. We're no different than any team. When you're at the top of your game, the best wants to play for you. That's why, with the addition of our new shop foreman and the rest of our body shop crew, Landers now has a combined experience of over 70 years in dealing with the best parts and repair finishes on the market. This means when you walk into Landers, you can breathe a little easier knowing that your vehicle will receive the best quality repair by the best certified technicians within a reasonable amount of time. Again and again, we work directly with most insurance companies and have loaners and rental vehicles on site for your convenience. We're proud to not only be the standard, but to keep raising the bar in collision repair. Come meet the staff, take a tour of our facilities, and get to know the Landers crew that Landers Collision has so proudly acquired. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. Give us a call, 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
Saturday Sports Show brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It's what healthcare should be. Denny Zerwinski hosting. The last 21 minutes coming up. Jeff Crow pushing the buttons. Chris Hugo and Mike Richardson away on assignment. As we roll through the last part of the segment, we were running late, but this anchor late guest knows that who he was following. He probably had a chance to run late. Ron Weinmiller, the head coach of the Benton Rangers boys basketball team, joins us. And Ron, it's summer, but boys basketball keeps rolling. This is the hotbed time of year as far as high school boys basketball goes, isn't it?
Yeah, especially the month of June, it's pretty crazy, the month of June. Trying to get your contact days in and bleed over into July a little bit, but, most guys are done with their stuff by, that week after the 4th or even the week of the 4th of July. So this next 30 days are pretty jam-packed with high school basketball.
High school basketball it is, and one of those tournaments that everybody talks about and looks forward to is your tournament this year. Moved from a Saturday to this Tuesday. A nice tournament, a lot of teams, 1A through 3A variety coming to Benton High School on Tuesday.
Yeah, and that's the key thing that you said, is variety. We try to invite as many schools as we can, and we just kind of send out a mass email with the date. And luckily this year we got some teams from a little more of the central part of the state, in Carlisle and Mattoon coming down to play some good river-to-river schools, and Harrisburg, Murfreesboro, ourselves. Marion's going to be there. And that's what we like. We like to get some variety, and me, I don't like playing the same people all the time, whether it be in the season or in the summer. We got a lot of good Black Diamond teams playing it as well, so everybody should get to see people that they don't normally see. If the guy setting up the tournament did it right, then that's what will happen. So that's kind of the key thing we try to do. And, we moved it off of Saturday because so many guys fight baseball on Saturdays, and Tuesday's probably not the optimum day, but it's the day that worked out best for this year. We'll probably look to go to a Thursday next year. That kind of seems to be the day that everybody wanted to work towards.
And you talk about that, and remember the tournament last year, because I know we took the Saturday Sports Show on the road last year, Rich, Aaron, Jim, and broadcast from there, and got a lot of people to talk to there. But you mentioned that, and it's such an odd, every school's so different, because you talked about baseball being on a Saturday, you talked about football going on, and I know Illinois has a big 7-on-7 around that time. You had yours last year, and kids are going all the time different places. And a school the size of Benton, I know from experience being down there, the coaches all share athletes together. But boy, how much work do you guys put in to say, okay, here's our dates, here's this. How much do you guys work together to work on sharing athletes at a school the size of Benton?
Well, it's funny you asked that. I just had this conversation with a guy last night, and I'm of the philosophy, and I think that Jeremy and Brett would say the same thing if you asked them separately. I think we're all pretty smart enough to know that if we don't share athletes, we're all going to lose. Because at a school our size, and really a school any size, if your best athletes and your best kids are not participating, then you're not going to be competitive with the people we have to play in our conference. And just look no farther than Ryan Roper.
Right.
He just completed. I mean, so if you tell me a kid can't go be a 3-sport athlete, he'll be my example for a long time. And Tyler Leffler and Jared Johnson and Cody Smith and 2 years ago, the starting infield was my starting 5, and was also the skill kids on the football team. And that group of kids had an awful lot of success. So when kids, to me, it's a cop out when they say they want to concentrate on one sport, because their buddies may want to do that too. But a lot of times your favorite may not be your buddy's favorite, and by you playing that sport, you may get them to come out and play the sport that you love.
And your school, and I'll go through this, football team playoffs last 2 years. You've been in and or won a regional championship last 3 or 4 years. Brett Blondie was in a regional final and or won a regional last 2 or 3 years. So this is kind of a success that you guys have had, at least on the boys' side. I know the girls' track team and stuff as well, but the 3 big sports on the boys' side, you've shared, you've worked well, and obviously the results have been very good as far as in-school season sports go.
Yeah, and here's a great example of how we work together. I get a call from Brett this week, and he said, I messed up. And I said, what's going on? He said, we're playing this baseball tournament. He said, I thought it was over on Friday. He said, I just found out we got to play on Saturday. He said, is this going to mess you up? I said, no, we're not doing anything this Saturday. I said, you're good. He goes, well, I just wanted to check. That's it. And I would do the same thing with him if something got rescheduled from my end. The first thing I say is I got to check with baseball and football and make sure they haven't scheduled anything, because it works so well, and it also does not give the kids any sort of alibi of, well, I got to play baseball, I can't go play football or basketball or whatever today. So I think that's one of the key things for us, and I think it also, I've seen it promote in our school a sense of if a kid is just playing basketball and doesn't play football, those guys are all in the weight room together at 7 a.m. 3 days a week, and it promotes a little more sense of school pride or whatever you want to call it, because they've seen those football guys in there busting their tail at 7 a.m. all summer, and they want to cheer for them. So I think that's kind of been another byproduct of it that maybe we didn't necessarily think we would see, but we started to see it more come about the last couple of years.
Back to your tournament real quick. I'll touch on some of the teams that are involved in this thing. I'm looking around. I see, the likes of Mattoon's in. I see NCOE, Benton, Harrisburg defending 2A state champ, Goreville, Fairfield, Murfreesboro, Hamilton County, a.k.a. McLeansboro. It's a mix of teams that are good, and I think the schedule that's set up, you don't have a lot of teams, if any, that play each other all the time, either in regular season or any other place. You tried to do a good job of getting away from that.
Well, and as you well know, that can be a nightmare. After the phone call I played to you and said, I need some help setting this thing up, because you want to make it where people don't get that schedule and say, man, we play Christopher twice in the regular season, now we got to go to Benton and play them in the summer deal, and that's the one thing we really try to stay away from. And you can't stay away from it totally but we for sure stay away from it with conference teams to try to make sure that guys, when they come, they like coming, they play 3 competitive games, and that's probably the thing that's hardest in the summer, because you set up a really good 1A team against Goreville, and all of a sudden this 1A team, they had a baseball game and left 4 guys at home, and now they get tomahawked, and it's not a very good game. But on paper, 2 days before it was going to be, and that's probably the hardest thing in the summer when you're setting these things up, is to keep them, try to be as balanced as possible, and you hope that everybody's got their guys, and hopefully by doing this on a Tuesday, it will work out a little bit better for everybody.
What time do games start, and how long will they go here on this coming Tuesday at Rich Aaron Gym?
Yeah, we're going to start about 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll play all day. Last game will probably be over about 5 or 5:30. So, we'll be there all day. We'll play two courts in Rich Herring Gym, and then we'll use the East Gym as we get later on in the day. So we'll play 3 courts. So anybody wants to come out and see some good basketball. I know Waltonville's in it. Anxious to see what Brian has got coming back. He lost a lot, but I talked to him the other day. He's pretty excited about his young kids. So should be an exciting day to see what people have got to replace the people that they lost, and just see what we got going.
Well, as you know, you're going to be there. I'll show up on Tuesday, see what work you and I have put together, and see what we can work on and get better at scheduling for next year. But as you know, you're in the anchor leg position, so we get to talk about what we want. So, here's one thing that stood out to me today. This is totally new. Rain and everything's caused problems at Peoria for baseball, softball, baseball side especially. They're going to let third-place games, I just read today, they're going to be 5-inning games, and if the teams are tied after 5, you have third-place finishers. It's one of those things there that drives me crazy. That's kind of like kiss and make up, and everybody's happy and goes home with a trophy. Is that kind of what you see right now in this?
Well, I saw that this morning. I read that in the paper this morning, early this morning. I knew we would talk about this. And my thought was, if they don't give out, let's say they don't even play the third and fourth place game, which I think is a real possibility, correct?
Yeah, that could happen too, yeah.
So I figure with the 2A basketball trophy and the third and fourth place baseball and softball trophies, the IHSA trophy room may be the best trophy room in the state this year.
They still have a second place 2A boys basketball trophy too, right?
Oh yeah, they're going to have more trophies than anybody.
Right.
So that's one of those things where you look at it. I mean, to me that's crazy. You got to play that game, or don't schedule it at all. Because I just totally disagree with the fact that you've guaranteed them that they're going to play a game, and why does it have to take place on Saturday? Let them play somewhere else if you can get it in at all. But yeah, I think you got to get that in. And let's not have a tie, or let's do away with the third place game altogether.
Another thing, and I think I kind of touched on it, is too. And we're not just picking to be picking, but we're just talking different topics here. Regional final, sectional final. Hugo and I have talked about this up and down the roads here the last few weeks. Baseball, softball, regional, sectional finals should start no earlier than 12 p.m. 10 a.m., 11 a.m. doesn't do anybody any good, does it?
Well, here would be my question about that. What if you tried to start a sectional basketball final at 4:30?
Right.
I mean, people would go crazy. And I understand the reason for part of it is because you're in graduation season and those kind of things. But I think if you start at noon, that's plenty early to get everybody out of there for their graduation and things like that. But as far as a 10 a.m. start with some of the travel now in 4 classes that we have, I think that's just it's not fair. I remember last year, Anna Jonesville had to be at Vandalia. Was it 10 a.m. start in the sectional championship? Think about that bus trip on a Saturday morning. So, it's probably not the best case scenario, and I don't understand why. And I understand why football is a different animal, as we've talked about many times. But why does everybody else have a unified start? Because baseball can just kind of start whenever they want, and softball. Why not go to a unified noon start and just kind of roll with that? I understand it's not push it back because of weather, but I would agree with you. I'd like to have that explained why 10 a.m. starts. I mean, that's a big game to be starting that early in the morning.
And we're going to have you on back in the summer because we're bouncing around some ideas, talking about, things, good, bad, and different, what we would change. Football, obviously, bigger one on topic. But, we're going to have you back on. We're having a roundtable and things like that. But before we let you go this morning, we have to ask you our WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. And the thing about it is, this is one everybody can answer. I don't know if you've looked or not yet. But, okay, this week's question is, and this is going to fill in some gaps here for us, how do you like your steak cooked?
Well.
Okay.
Medium well. I'll go with medium well.
Okay. Now, because a lot of coaches are doing that. Because Coach Lana was on before you. And we thought that at a restaurant, steakhouse back in March in Peoria, there was somebody that threw their steak down 30 seconds, flipped it over 30 seconds, went back and started eating. Was that in our group, or were we thinking of something else at some other time?
That was in our group. Yes, it was not me, but yeah, that was way too rare for me.
Right.
I could do that.
Because Coach Lonan said that was the ego cooking is what that is. When you walk in and people are around, you kind of look and flip it 30 seconds, flip it again, and put it on your plate ready to eat, and you kind of watch around. And see, we couldn't remember who it was, and that's the eternal mystery right now.
But how would Coach Lonan know? Because he never cooked it. He always makes Coach Honeywood do it.
Well, that's true. You know, because back to the buttered bread in that particular establishment, I mean, everybody hangs around, watch everybody cook. Now, I didn't have mine cooked, so I got something else, but... You know, I mean, that's one of those deals where, you know, I don't know how he would know, actually.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to coming on this summer and hopefully get everybody down there Tuesday watching the basketball, and we'll go from there.
Hey, I'm looking forward to Tuesday. I'll be down sometime eventually. I'll also get back with you. We'll have you on the sports show this summer because we're gonna discuss some topics that Hugo and I and you and others have brought up and talked about, and maybe solve a few while we're on the air and just kind of talk just to talk.
Commissioner for a day, man. I'm looking forward to it.
That's what we're going to call it, Commissioner for a day. Coach Weinmiller, thanks for joining us. I'll see you on Saturday, and well, I'm sure, as I said, we'll talk this summer on the radio as we go along.
Sounds good. Thanks, Danny. Appreciate it.
That's Ron Weinmiller, head coach of the boys basketball team at Benton High School. The Benton Shootout will be Tuesday all day long at Rich Aaron Gym. 2 games going on the courts there, and one in the East Gym part of the afternoon as well. Get down there if you want to watch some high school basketball. We need to take a break, I think. Is that right? 1 more or 2 more? 2 more. We got to take a break and come back. We'll get caught up. Anyway, you're listening to Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
America is a nation on wheels. Everyone has at least one automobile. We use them for shopping, work, everything we do. But they can be a threat. Some accidents can't be prevented. Your professional Pekin Insurance Agency, Page Insurance on Crown View in Mount Vernon, can help protect you from a large financial loss when an accident happens. Call Page Insurance today at 242-7000 about low-cost auto insurance from Pekin Insurance. Ask them about the many money-saving discounts that are available. Depend on your hometown professionals.
Pekin Insurance.
I'm Kevin Snyder with a look at your next rad weather. Mostly cloudy, warm, and humid today with a couple of strong thunderstorms around, which can bring hail and damaging winds. High around 80. Then we'll see a shower or thunderstorm in spots for the evening. Otherwise, mostly cloudy tonight. Low 58 in the countryside to 62 in town. Less humid tomorrow, cooler with a high 72. Partly sunny Monday, high 73. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Saturday Sports Show brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It's what healthcare should be. We'd like to thank all of our guests this morning for joining us. Tim Holloway, Scott Gamber, Bo Meyer, Todd Tripp, Lance Bolt, Jeff Lonan, and Ron Weinmiller. Thanks to all who joined us. As it's been a big show and a lot of topics going on, our social media question as well, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. Like us there and answer the question, how do you like your steak cooked? We'll take a break and come back. We're going to get you caught up on the delays, the cancellations, and whatnot here around the Southern Illinois region, baseball, softball, state tournaments, as well as bass fishing. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
The Motor City reclaims its name with the 2013 Chrysler 200. Hi, Roy Schmidt Chrysler dealer at King City Chrysler Center, Mount Vernon. The Chrysler 200 has a great classy design. The lines and curves create a precise chisel profile. LED tail lamps eliminate attention to detail, and each Chrysler 200 wheel choice adds a different finishing touch to the vehicle's overall design. Right now, we are offering our own finishing touch with great incentives. Choose $3,000 in customer cash or choose 0% financing for 72 months. Wow! We have over 30 Chrysler 200s in stock, all having been awarded the IIHS Top Safety Pick. Browse our entire inventory at KingCityChrysler.com or come see one of our associates at King City Chrysler Center, 1603 Broadway in Mount Vernon, and don't forget to find us on Facebook.
Saturday Sports Show brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospitals. More than a hospital is what healthcare should be. Denny Zerwinski with Jeff Crow pushing the buttons. Chris Hugo and Mike Richardson on assignment as we shift gears a little bit from spring sports in the summer. We'll completely shift. Well, maybe not. Still another weekend left, contrary to belief, of the IHSA high school sports season. Next weekend will be 3A, 4A baseball and softball. With any luck, Mount Vernon baseball will be playing next weekend in Joliet. Speaking of Mount Vernon baseball, they will not play today in a sectional final against Triad at Effingham. Breaking news, obviously it has been rained out, for those of you who don't already have guessed that. That game will be played on Monday at 4:30 at Effingham. And you can, if you're not going to the game, or if you are, and you want to listen to it, it's on AM 940 WMIX, as well as online at WMIXsports.com. Pre-game will be at 4:15. First pitch will be at 4:30 for the right to go to the Elite Eight and play in GCS Ballpark. So now with that sectional final on Monday, the super sectional that was scheduled for Monday at GCS will obviously be pushed back. So the winner of the Mount Vernon Rams Triad Knights game will play the winner of Chatham, Glenwood, and Bloomington probably Tuesday at GCS at a time to be determined. So stay tuned. You can follow us on Twitter at WMIX Sports. You can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. We're going to keep you updated with scores and whatnot, not only from around Southern Illinois and the state today as far as any games that get played, but also any games that are going to be canceled. Of course, Mount Vernon's canceled. 3A softball, Mount Zion's canceled. The Alton baseball game with Moline at IWU has been canceled. Lots of cancellations going to be coming in over the next few hours because, you know, most of the state got rain last night. I know one sectional final, probably the Chatham-Bloomington sectional final. We played at SHG today because they have a turf field, so they get to play. So that one probably will be in, but the Rams are going to play Monday at 4:30. At Effingham, and we'll be there for that. Chris Hugo and I will be there for that one on Monday afternoon in Effingham. It's another trip to our favorite stop, probably for lunch as well. Thanks to all our guests again who joined us this morning on the Saturday Sports Show. We'll be back here next week, 8:08 a.m. to 10 a.m. We'll shift gears and talk spring sports, high school sports, summers as well. NBC News starts now.